The glistening skyline of New Avalon seemed eternal, its steel and glass towers piercing the clouds. At the heart of the city's innovation district was a building unlike any other, a fortress of mirrors and silence known as the St. Laurent Tower. Few dared to approach without invitation. Fewer still had met its owner, Gabriel St. Laurent, the man known as the Silent Billionaire. It was nearly midnight when Ana Reyes, an investigative journalist for The Beacon, found herself standing at the base of St. Laurent Tower. She clutched an envelope containing a series of cryptic documents delivered to her desk that morning. Each page detailed anomalies in Gabriel's Foundation's financial records, disappearances of funds that hinted at something far darker. Ana had tried the usual routes, interviews, anonymous sources, but every lead led to dead ends. Gabriel's silence wasn't just personal, it extended to his entire empire. If she wanted answers, she'd need to go to the source. To her surprise, the elevator doors opened without protest. As if the building expected her, it whisked her to the penthouse suite, where Gabriel resided. The doors slid open to reveal a sprawling room of minimalist design, cold marble floors, sleek furniture and walls lined with books. A single figure stood by the window, his silhouette framed by the city lights. "Mr. St. Laurent," Ana began, her voice trembling slightly. Gabriel turned, his piercing eyes locking onto hers. He didn't speak. Instead, he gestured for her to sit at the table in the center of the room. "You know why I'm here," she said, placing the envelope on the table. "Your foundation's missing millions. People think you're a saint, but these documents tell a different story. Care to explain?" Gabriel sat across from her, his expression unreadable. He opened the envelope, scanned the contents and slid it back without a word. Then, from his pocket he produced a small leather notebook and began writing. "What you've uncovered is dangerous," the notebook read when he turned it to face her. "Not for me but for you." Gabriel stood abruptly and moved to the window. He pulled a remote from his pocket, pressing a button that dimmed the room's lights and activated an array of screens on one wall. Ana watched as surveillance footage from various locations flickered into view. She recognized some of them, charities Gabriel's foundation funded, research labs, but others were unknown. "You're being watched," she said, piecing together his silent gestures and expressions. He nodded. "By who?" Gabriel typed furiously on a tablet connected to the screens. The word HYDRAS appeared in bold. Before she could ask, images flashed of shadowy figures, bank transfers and offshore accounts. This is a cover-up?" Ana asked, her breath quickening. Gabriel nodded again. He gestured toward the documents she had brought. "These leaks were planted," he wrote. "HYDRAS wanted you to find them to lure you, and me, into a trap." The screens flickered, and suddenly, one showed a live feed of the very elevator Ana had just used. Two men in dark suits were stepping out, their faces grim. "We have to go," Ana said, her voice barely above a whisper. Gabriel didn't move. Instead, he opened a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a steel door. With a single motion, he gestured for her to follow. The door led to a labyrinth of underground tunnels. Ana struggled to keep up with Gabriel's long strides as they moved deeper into the shadows. "Do you have a plan or are we just running?" she asked. Gabriel turned briefly and smirked, a rare crack in his stoic demeanor. He held up the tablet where he'd typed, "Both." As they navigated the tunnels, Ana began to understand the depth of Gabriel's world. He wasn't just a billionaire, he was a man at war with an invisible enemy. The HYDRAS organization, it seemed, was more than corporate rivals. It was a global syndicate using charities and research initiatives as fronts for illegal operations. Gabriel had discovered them years ago and quietly siphoned their funds to dismantle their empire. But now they were fighting back. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed through the tunnels. A controlled explosion, Ana realized. Dust and debris filled the air. Gabriel grabbed her arm, pulling her into a side passage just as a wall caved in behind them. "We're trapped," she said, coughing. Gabriel shook his head. He pointed to a service ladder leading upward. "Where does it lead?" The answer came in a single word scrawled quickly on his tablet. "Truth." Emerging into a hidden office beneath an abandoned warehouse, Ana found herself surrounded by evidence, blueprints, dossiers, and photos. Gabriel had been quietly building a case against HYDRAS for years, working in the shadows to expose their operations. "You've been fighting them alone," Ana said, piecing it together. Gabriel nodded. He picked up his notebook one last time and wrote, "Until now." Ana stared at him, realizing the weight of his words. If she published this story, it would change everything, for her, for Gabriel, and for the world. But it would also put a target on their backs. "Why me?" she asked. Gabriel's pen hovered over the page. Finally he wrote, "Because you don't just listen. You understand." Gabriel St. Laurent wasn't always silent. Born Gabriel André St. Laurent in the sleepy French village of Montclair, he was the youngest of 3 siblings in a modest but loving family. His father, an engineer, inspired his curiosity for invention, while his mother, a schoolteacher, nurtured his love of stories. But his idyllic life shattered one rainy evening when a tragic accident claimed the lives of his parents and older siblings. Gabriel, only 15, was the sole survivor. He spent months in a hospital bed recovering from his injuries. During this time he stopped speaking, not because he couldn't, but because words felt inadequate to express the depth of his grief. His silence persisted even after he healed physically. Therapists called it selective mutism, but Gabriel knew it was more than that. He had chosen silence as his shield, a way to listen more closely to the world. It was during this time he developed an extraordinary ability to observe, decode, and analyze human behavior, a gift that would later make him a formidable force in the business world. At 18 he left Montclair, determined to reinvent himself. He enrolled at the University of Zurich, where he pursued advanced studies in artificial intelligence and ethics. By 25, Gabriel had co-founded Lucid Dynamics, a company that revolutionized communication for people with disabilities. His groundbreaking AI software not only restored voices but also allowed people to express themselves in ways they never thought possible. The world hailed him as a genius. Gabriel became a billionaire almost overnight. Yet he remained elusive, rejecting interviews and public appearances. He allowed the world to craft its own mythology about him: the silent innovator, the benevolent recluse. But beneath this facade, Gabriel had begun uncovering the shadows that would define his life's purpose: HYDRAS. Back in the hidden office, Ana sat at the desk, flipping through Gabriel's meticulously organized files. Each piece of evidence painted a chilling picture. HYDRAS wasn't just embezzling funds. They were weaponizing technology to manipulate governments, destabilize economies, and control public opinion. "We need to take this public," Ana said, her voice steady but urgent. Gabriel raised an eyebrow. He typed on his tablet, "Not yet. If we rush, they'll bury it, and us." "What's the plan then?" Gabriel walked to a large, illuminated map on the wall. Red pins marked key locations across the globe. Beneath each pin were names of operatives, shell companies, and offshore accounts. He pointed to one in particular, a HYDRAS-controlled research lab in Geneva, Switzerland. "This is their Achilles heel," he wrote. "A server farm containing the data to dismantle them." "You're planning to break in?" Ana realized. He nodded. "And you want me to help?" Gabriel hesitated, then handed her a note. "You're already in this. Staying silent won't save you." Nights later, Ana found herself in an abandoned warehouse outside Geneva. Gabriel's silent efficiency had transformed it into a command center. He handed Ana a sleek headset with augmented reality capabilities, explaining the plan via text and gestures. "Why do you trust me?" she asked as they prepared. Gabriel paused, then typed, "Because you fight for truth, not fame." The plan was daring but precise. Gabriel would infiltrate the lab, using his uncanny knack for slipping through security systems he likely helped design. Ana's role was equally crucial. She would serve as the public face, broadcasting the evidence in real time to ensure HYDRAS couldn't suppress it. The heist unfolded with clockwork precision, until it didn't. As Gabriel accessed the server room, alarms blared. HYDRAS operatives swarmed the facility, forcing Gabriel into a desperate cat-and-mouse game. Ana, stationed outside in a getaway van, watched the chaos unfold on her screen. Her heart pounded as Gabriel typed a single word, "Go." But she didn't. Instead, she hacked into the lab's system, using the AR headset to guide Gabriel through the labyrinthine corridors. Together, they reached the server room, extracting the data just as HYDRAS operatives closed in. In a final act of defiance, Gabriel triggered an EMP device, disabling the lab's systems and buying their escape. Back in New Avalon, Ana released the HYDRAS files to the world. The fallout was immediate. Governments launched investigations, protests erupted, and HYDRAS's network began to unravel. Gabriel's name, once shrouded in mystery, became synonymous with courage and justice. But Gabriel didn't bask in the spotlight. Instead, he returned to his tower, retreating into silence once more. Months later, Ana visited St. Laurent Tower. This time she didn't need an invitation. The doors opened as if expecting her. Gabriel greeted her with a rare smile. "I thought you didn't want to see the world know your name," Ana said. Gabriel handed her a note. "It's not about my name. It's about what people do with the truth." Together they stood at the window watching the city below, a world forever changed by the whispers of a silent billionaire.